creating a membership site is a complete waste of time. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why, so you can save your time and make more money in the service of more people. Welcome back, guys. Uriel Kane here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals build scalable coaching businesses that transform more lives. I've been at this for 20 years, building businesses online, specifically in the health, wellness, and fitness space. I have nothing to sell you here. I have no vested interest other than helping you avoid the mistakes that I made. So there are 5 major reasons why membership sites, I believe, are a complete waste of time and are ultimately not going to help you. Whether or not you want to take my advice on this is completely up to you, because words can only warn, but life experience teaches. So let's dive in. The first big reason why membership sites are a complete waste of time is they actually don't help anyone. So there's one fundamental reason for this, and that's this. Most membership sites, and when I say membership site, I mean like people paying continuity, are going to be in the neighborhood of $50 per month or less, okay? So when we look at that type of investment, most people, for them, it's no big deal. So the thing you have to remember is the less people pay, the less they pay attention. And according to the research, less than 10% of people who start an online course or a membership portal actually complete it. So if you're a health professional, if you're someone who cares about helping others, how do we help them get results if they don't even finish the thing they started? It would be like saying, okay, go to school, but you don't even finish grade 6. Like you're in kindergarten, you go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and most people don't even make it to grade 6. How on earth are we supposed to educate the population if they don't even make it out of grade school? And the same thing happens here. So why is that happening? Well, fundamentally, it's because when people don't pay, they don't pay attention. Now, I actually ran 4 different membership sites in my previous business, and I'll walk you through those in a moment. So I'm sharing this not from like armchair doctor here, but from actual in the trenches experience. And I have a good friend of mine who's one of the leaders in the world when it comes to membership sites. I love him. He's an amazing person. And if you're hell-bent on building membership sites, he's the guy to go to. I'm going to spare his name here because I want to respect his privacy. And obviously I understand different people with different philosophies, but I was invited to speak at his mastermind a number of years ago. And I asked him before I spoke to his group, I said, hey, is there anything that's off limits here? Because I do have some opinions about this. And he's like, no, just share your point of view. And so when I spoke to the room, everyone in the room, for context, had built a multiple 7-figure membership site. So they had thousands of members paying, $20 to $100 a month on these membership sites. And I asked them, the first question I asked them, like, hey guys, so just out of curiosity, what's the single biggest challenge that you want to solve with your membership site business? And most people were like, stick rate. I'm like, I get it. So let me guess, on average, how long are your people staying? About 3.5 months? And most people were like, yeah, that's about right. And so I said, listen, there are all sorts of different tactics and gamification ways of improving stick rate, but are you open to me sharing what I found to be the most effective? And they're like, please share it. And I'm going to share with you right here. So what I shared with them was this. So if you're selling something for $50 a month and you actually want people to stick around and show up and do the work, just add a 0 to what they're paying. And that's it. Because all of a sudden now, this is one of the top priorities in their life in terms of where they're spending their money, because where people spend their time and their money is a clarification of what's important to them. So if you think of all the expenses you have on a monthly basis, you might have Netflix, which is what, $10 or $11. You might have Amazon Prime, same price. You got a mortgage, several $1,000s. Push comes to shove, which one are you focused on a little bit more, right? It's obvious. And it's the same thing with this, is that we want to make sure that if we're in the game of helping people, the reality is no one's doing anything with free information, as much as we want to think so, or low-priced information. And yes, there's always the outliers. There's always the people who are going to go into a membership program and pay little to nothing, and they're just so gung-ho and committed to it that they just go. I'll share an example with you. A couple years ago, I bought a parenting course for $297. So this actually wasn't even a membership site. This is a $297 course from someone who is very renowned in the parenting space. Now, there was maybe, 6 modules, right? 6 months of stuff, and there's probably a continuity on the back end of that. So continuity in terms of like you can keep paying every month to keep getting access. And this is an amazing course. I'm like, this is going to help me solve something that I'm dealing with, as a dad. And so if this were the the journey of that online course / membership site, I started here, and then I was like all gung ho, and I started going, and I was like, right about there, I'm like, meh, I got other stuff to focus on. And so what happened was I fell off the radar. And that's obviously on me 100%, but it's also the ecosystem because I wasn't paying a lot. So no big deal if I lost $297. That's a nice dinner with my family, more or less, okay? So that's the first reason why I'm not a huge fan of membership sites is I don't fundamentally believe that they help anyone. The second reason why membership sites, I believe, are a waste of time is that they fundamentally, it's this whole notion of passive income. I speak with a lot of health professionals who are burnt out in their business, in their brick and mortar, and they want to come online. And a lot of them are like, yeah, like I just want some passive income. I want another revenue stream. I'm like, oh dear, like you might as well just invest in crypto if that's the mindset. So let me give you some just reframes around this. In my experience, in 20 years of business, now again, for context, I built and sold one of the largest health businesses online, starting back in 2005. We helped 500,000 customers. I became a #2 New York Times bestseller. I had 4 membership sites. We had hundreds of funnels and SKUs and all sorts of complications in that business. And my intention when I came online in 2005 was this, passive income. Why? Because for 7 years before that, I was burnt out working one-on-one with clients in person. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with humans. I want to just sit back, sit by the pool, and sell information on the internet. That was the dream, the internet lifestyle. It didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen is because there's this whole belief that if we just put something out there, people are going to buy it. Well, the whole field of dreams doesn't exist on the internet. Here's the thing. It's like no one even knows you're building a baseball diamonds. I'm using that metaphorically speaking, right? The reality is that there are trillions of pages on Google. The likelihood that your stuff is going to get found is close to zero. Like I'm looking at the Pacific Ocean right now, and that's kind of like me, like taking a pebble and throwing it into the Pacific Ocean, expecting that to create a tidal wave. It's not going to do anything. And so this whole passive income thing is a complete, it's a sham, like the whole mindset around it. So here's the reality when it comes to membership sites. The idea is if I get a lot of people in, they will pay me every month and I'll have some illusion of passive income. Well, here's the thing. You have to create content monthly, weekly, whatever your cadence is. Maybe you do all of it at once and then it's like set up forever. And I'll share a story with you in a second about that. And also you have the engagement in the community, right? You have to be in the community. Like you don't have to, but if you want to support people, you're probably answering their questions. Maybe you're doing a Q&A call once a month and that's fine, right? It's no big deal, but there is work. Like it's not like launch, chill. It doesn't happen. The only thing that I've seen come close to passive income is this. You build up your business, okay? You just build it, and you fill up your cup with revenue. So this is revenue going up. And then if you're a smart entrepreneur, you have profit. And so this profit, whatever, we'll call it 40%. After tax, you pull this out and you put this into various investments. So maybe that's a holding company, it's a life insurance policy, real estate, whatever you're into. This is somewhat passive. Again, if you're investing in real estate, you're not just like buying a building or a unit and just leaving it, right? So in an active working business, you're not going to see passive income, but you can grow the business, pull profit out of it, and then the profit from that business can create some degree of passivity. Now, that's the only scenario, okay? In your active, like you have to grow your business significantly to even consider this. But I want to share this story with you. So when I started one of my first membership sites, it was called Super Nutrition Academy. My life transformed when I went to school to study nutrition. And I thought that if I could just do that for the everyday person, it would be life-changing. So I spent 1,000 hours, 1,000 hours building out the curriculum, building the content, shooting the videos. It was amazing. I thought it was. It was like the everyday person's nutrition school, right? It's kind of like a nutrition degree in 1 hour per week. And that was kind of the whole idea. The problem though, is that when we launched it, no one bought. And I literally had a freak out for a moment. I'm like, you just spent 1,000 hours pouring your heart and soul into this for $39 a month and no one's biting. And all of a sudden, what I thought was going to create some kind of passive residual income in our business turned into one of the biggest puzzles that I had to figure out. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, retroactively now, how do I how do I force feed this into the marketplace in a way that they actually want it? So I had to now be putting more work and time into this thing because it wasn't selling because no one wanted it. And all of a sudden, this created more work for me than ever before. Another one of my membership sites called Fitter You Fitness was a monthly fitness continuity thing, right? This was like $49 a month, I think, or $97 a month. And it was new workouts. And here's the thing. I was doing, one of the things that separated me back in the day was I was doing follow along workouts. So I was recording follow along workouts, audio and then video. And it was like me right with you as a trainer. But the problem was that I was having to now do that every month. And I can't even remember it. It must have been, I think the agreement in that membership site was, I think it was 2 new follow along workouts per month. So I had to shoot that and create those every month. And I did that for 24 months. And I just remember getting to the end of 24 months and I was like, I think I'm good. I think I've outlasted most members. And then there was like a couple that made it to the end and they're like, what's next? I'm like, honestly, I'm done. Just like keep using the 24 months of workouts you already have. And so it was just like this constant like burden on my back of like, shit, I don't want, like, they have enough workouts. I don't want to like, but again, like they're in, so you have to keep, it's like this content treadmill. Think of it like playing the content game on social media or YouTube, but having to do it because people are paying you. And listen, if that's your thing, cool. But for me, I'm like, I'm looking at the revenue that this is generating and it was okay, but I'm like, it wasn't worth the squeeze for me at a certain point. So the whole idea of like passive income through a membership site is just not going to happen. And again, the one caveat to this, and this is going to go for any low price thing. So if you create an app, you spend tens of thousands of dollars creating an app that people are going to buy for $5, $10, $50, like it's ridiculous. The only time that stuff for a low price membership site is going to make sense is if you have hundreds of thousands of followers or more, because the sheer volume of them is going to make up in numbers, right? Like what I'm seeing is, there are a lot of big fitness influencers on the internet, right? Millions of people, and they come out with an app. Sure, makes sense. But unless you have millions of followers, that's not going to make sense for your business model because no one knows you exist. You have no following to begin with, and you're going to be spending all this time building something people fundamentally don't even want. And even if they did, the number of them, and I'll show you the math in a couple minutes, so just stick with me, it's just not going to make sense in the slightest. So that's why membership sites, this whole idea of like passive income, it's not going to happen. All right, so the third reason why membership sites I don't think make a lot of sense is because it's not about the price, it's about the offer. So I want to share, I'm going to come back to those 2 examples. So we had SNA, Super Nutrition Academy, 1%. We had Fitter You Fitness, 1%. And then we have HBA, which is our current coaching program, which is a high-ticket coaching program for a year. You can consider it a high-priced membership if you want, 30%. Okay, so what are these percentages? So let me actually break down these numbers here. So this is 47 a month. This was 97 a month. And this is, depending on the price, let's call it north of like 2K per month, okay? Okay, so 1% is the conversion rate from people landing on the page to purchasing $47 a month, okay? Fitter You Fit is $97 a month, 1%. HBA was, what is the math on that? I don't even know. 20 times the price, 30% conversion. What the hell's happening here? Like, why would anyone ever consider doing this? What I've realized is that it is so much more work to sell information at a low price point than it is to sell something at a higher price point. The thing is, like, HBA is our flagship coaching program. It's helped over 1,300 health professionals. It's expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in the ocean. Most health professionals we work with drop $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in school and are still paying off the debt. And for a fraction of that price, we actually give them the business skills and systems the school system shamingly never gave them, so we can actually help them build a viable career, especially online. So the reason these conversion rates are so different is because we actually speak to people on the phone. Okay. And the offer, because like with something for $47 a month, do you think I'm going to be getting on the phone and coaching clients every single day? No way. I'm not even getting in a bed for that. But the difference is that when someone's paying premium prices, you can offer so much more. So the offer becomes so much more attractive because a lot of times it's not that it's too expensive, it's not expensive enough. So if we look at the example of like Super Nutrition Academy, what if I'm asking myself, how could I make this more valuable? Like if I look at the offer, like remove the price for a second, how do I make Super Nutrition Academy more amazing? What would people die to pay for? And let's say I said, okay, well, for $4,700 per month, now I know I'm just kind of stretching our imagination here, what could I possibly offer? Well, maybe I could offer you a food delivery. I could actually not just give you the education, but I could actually send all the meals to your door. I could have a local chef prepare your foods. We could do all of your grocery shopping for you, right? There's all sorts of things that we can provide at higher price points. Now, I'm not saying those are feasible for most people, but I'm getting you to think about the offer itself to make it more attractive, because what we default to so often is let me provide the bare minimum. Just somehow I think people are going to buy that, and let me just put a low price tag on it. And it doesn't help them, and it doesn't help you. So my encouragement is to think about it's not the price, it's about the offer. And when you offer something that people truly want, you can charge more. Now, in order to sell that, you can't just whip up a web page and expect people to click the buy now button. That's not going to happen. Maybe at lower price points, but again, it's 1%. I'm telling you that 1% conversion rate is about the norm. It's about the norm. And I'll just share this actually recently. So we ran a live workshop around Facebook ads, sent it out to our email list, $100 to attend the workshop, right? Email, landing page, buy now, $100. Email list, people who know, like, and trust me. Well, I don't know if they know, like, and trust me, but they know me. The conversion rate from that was 2%. 2% of people who clicked to the page purchased for $100. And this is my warm audience. Now, yeah, you could say, well, maybe the offer was not great. Sure, I can make it more attractive for sure. But it's not going to be anywhere close to 30%. I can promise you this after having done this for 20 years. So the thing I want to really get to hit across here is if the goal is to help someone, create an offer that fundamentally does. Don't offer tips when transformations are required. Stop giving out Band-Aids. Give them the full enchilada and charge accordingly. Okay. Fourth reason why I don't believe membership sites make a lot of sense is really quick. It's very simple. You're going to attract pretty low-end customers. People who pay you a couple dollars a month are just not invested, and therefore they're not really committed to doing the work. So you think you'll be more hands-off, but what I've actually noticed over the years is that the people who pay you the least are the biggest pain in the ass. So if you want to deal with that, by all means, go for it. But I can promise you this, if you think you're just going to get thousands of people and paying you a couple bucks a month, and you can sit back and chill, it's not going to happen. You know the saying, more money, more problems, or more money, more problems? It's kind of like that with people. More people, more problems. Remember, if you have a membership site and you've got hundreds or thousands of people, you're going to have to start thinking about a customer service department. So it's not just hands off. Now you have to think about customer support and dealing with all the tickets. It's not would you rather have 1,000 people paying you $10, or would you rather have 10 people paying you $1,000 a month? It's so much easier to manage a business with less volume at higher prices. And it's not to say that you can't have both, but you just have to build the infrastructure over time to support that. So I believe, and I've seen this, that you will attract pretty low-end customers, because when people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And if you want to help people, well, you're just not attracting the people who actually want to be helped. Okay, and the fifth reason that I'm not a huge fan of membership sites is that the math simply doesn't make sense. So let me grab a sip of my coffee here, and then I'm going to walk you through the math. So if you're somebody who's very logical and you're trying to argue your way through this video, by all means, I'm not saying build a membership site. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just trying to give you some perspective. So let's say that you want to make $100,000 per year. Okay, so that's the goal. Okay, so let's look at a couple different ways we can get there. So let's say in scenario one, so we got membership site. Okay, so you charge $50 per month, right? $50 per month. And I'm just looking at some of my notes here on the computer because obviously I can't remember all this stuff off the top of my head. Now, if the average customer stays 4 months, so we're giving you a 4-month stick rates, then the LTV, lifetime value of any individual customer, is $200, right? So let's say that $200 over the course of a year. So how many customers in 1 year do you need to make $100,000? Well, the answer is 500 customers required, right? Okay, so that is, if we break this down, that is 41 new per month, new customers per month. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so I know the game plan. I got to get 41 new customers a month. How am I doing that? All right, so let's look at a couple examples here. So let's look at a couple different paths. Let's say that we look at, well, I've got a social media following. Okay, cool. And I'm going to be very generous with you on this. So let's say that your social media following, let's say you've got 500,000 IG followers, which I'm sure all of you have watching this. And I'm going to assume a 1% engagement rate, which is, average or a little bit above. And I'm going to be super generous here. I'm going to say that 10% of your engaged audience is going to buy your membership stuff. Okay, so 10% of these 1% engagers will buy. So what happens here is you need, in this case, if my math is right, you need a lot of people, right? You need a lot of people. Like, just think about this. So 500,000 followers at 1% engagement. So 1% of 500,000 is what? 5,000 people? So 5,000 people. Let's say you put out a post that is like a very promotional post. Hey, I've got this new thing. Check it out. I'm assuming here that 5,000 people click on the link in your bio, which, when does that happen, right? 5,000 people. And again, 10% of those people, 500, are going to buy. All right, cool. So we've already solved the problem, right? Theoretically, we solved the problem of I need 500 customers required. In this fictitious theoretical example, again, there are 3 major, really big assumptions here. You've got 500,000 followers or more. 1% of those people are engaging. And when I say engaging, I'm not talking about liking or sharing or commenting on a post. To be explicitly clear, I'm saying they're clicking on a link in your bio or in your stories to go to the sales page for your membership site. And then I'm being incredibly generous by saying these are people who would give their blood for you. And 10% of them buy your membership site, or they buy to be part of it, at $50 a month. Those are 3 utopian scenario, unicorns and rainbow type of scenarios for this to even happen. And I wanted to illustrate this to show you how out of this world abnormal this would have to be for this to make sense in the slightest. So if you take a couple of zeros off of this and you have 500 Instagram followers and your engagement is 0.1 and 0.1% of those people buy, you can do the math on this. It's not a business. It is a complete waste of time and a very big frustration in your life. So please don't do that. But let's say that you run paid traffic, right? You know that I love paid traffic. I love running ads. It's the best if you want to move quickly. All right, so let's remove the social media side of things for a second. And let's look at the example where, and again, we're looking to make $100,000, okay? We need 41 customers a month or 500 customers total. I'm going to be super generous here. And once again, I'm going to say that from your ads to buy equals 0.5%. Now, I'm telling you this is generous. Ads to cold traffic to get them to purchase something for $50 a month, you need to be the most incredible copywriter, have the world's best offer, but let's just play with that. Okay, so based on these numbers, right, we need 500 customers, right? So we need 500 customers. And we divide that by a 0.5% conversion rate. We need 100,000 visitors. Okay, wow. We need 100,000 visitors from paid traffic for you to make $100,000. And again, I'm just going to be super nice with you. And let's say that you're paying your cost per click equals $1. So you're paying $1 for a click. And that equals $100,000 to get 100,000 visitors. Cool, right? Well, hold on. You just paid $100,000 to make revenue equals $100,000. So therefore, your profit equals 0. You make 0 profit, therefore you have no money at the end of the day. You don't even pay yourself. Just because the model itself mathematically doesn't make sense. So, you know, like, again, like we have to think of like, what are we actually doing here? Like, what's the purpose of all of this stuff? And I share this with you because you can replace membership site for low-priced information, for an ebook, for a low-priced app, for a course that sells for $100. Like anytime you're getting someone to click from somewhere to go to a page and hit a buy now button, you will see numbers in the neighborhood of 0.5%, 1%, or maybe a little bit higher if you're the world's most trusted person. You have like an incredible brand. You're an amazing copywriter. You have the world's best offer. Like, yeah, you can move that a couple percentage points, but for most of us mere mortals, we're living in the neighborhood of 0.5% to 1%. And again, I don't even think that's realistic from a cold traffic ad to purchase. Okay, if you're like, you'll see a 20 to 30% opt-in rates for something for free. So expecting people who've never heard of you to go from an ad to buy something from you is just, it's crazy. So I hope this makes sense because, again, I have no vested interest in, like, I don't care what you do. I mean, I care about you and I don't even know you. I care about you not struggling. I struggled for many, many years doing stupid stuff because I didn't think about what it all looked like. I didn't see the roadmap. I didn't see the lay of the land. And I wish I had stuff like this where someone said, hey, Yuri, before you do all of this stuff, maybe consider the math here. Maybe consider the fact that your clients are actually not going to do anything with this and not get results. And therefore, if you care about them, probably not a good thing to do. And so as you know, like our company is really built to help health professionals build coaching businesses that transform more lives with heart, not sell membership sites that get a lot of customers who you don't even know, who don't even do anything. So what's my agenda here? My agenda here is really to sell you on a better business model. But again, I understand that it's not right for everyone. Coaching, I believe, is one of the most transformational things we can help people through, but it also has its challenges. But again, that's what I help you with on this channel. So if you've enjoyed this, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'm sure the next video that's going to come up will go a little bit deeper into maybe some coaching models that might make a bit more sense instead of relying on low-priced models that simply suck money out of your business and frustrate the heck out of you. Thanks for joining me today, guys. And repeat after me, membership sites don't make sense. And I'll see you in the next video.